Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to our speaker, Mrs. Ting Jimmy, a councillor of UTP, and our second speaker, Dr. Abdul Rashid, a postdoctoral research scientist of UTP. So I am Nabiha binti Muhammad Ilyas from Postgraduate Student Council and the Graduate Affairs Bureaus. I will be your MC for this talk regarding stress and time management. So before we begin with the session, there are a few rules to be applied. First, your video and audio will be muted by the host throughout the session. This is to minimize distraction from the audio feedback. Second, as this talk includes a live Q&A session, any question, please send it through the live chat box of the Microsoft Teams meeting, and the speaker will answer the question either during or after the session. So your cooperation is highly appreciated. So before we start with the event, I would like to invite Mr. Awak Mohsin to recite a dua for the opening prayer.
Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma aghfir lana dhunubana wa li ikhwanina alladhina sabaquna bil iman wa la taj'ala fi qulubina ghillan lil ladhina amanu rabbana innaka ra'ufun rahim. Ya Allah ya Rahman ya Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. We gather today to express gratitude upon your greatest gift toward us. In conjunction with this event, we ask for your help and guidance. Ya Allah, kindly give us strength and courage to face the struggle, to find and gain knowledge. Kindly bestow blessing, physical and spiritual health, fitness of mind, peace of mind, strength of spirit. Ya Allah, give us strength to our lecturer, teachers, and our continue to serve for people, society, nation, and religion. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you very much.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you, Mr. Awak Mohsin, for the prayer. Okay, so if everyone is ready, then I would like to invite our first speaker, Mrs. Jin Ting, to begin her talks with the title of Stress Management Strategies for Postgraduate Students.
Hi, thanks for introducing me. As usual, you have a very sweet voice. Nabiha, I would like to acknowledge you on this.
Thank you, Ms. Ting.
Most welcome. Okay, very good afternoon, evening to all of you. I'm glad that you all came, even though it's just online. So today I'll be talking about stress management. Stress management is actually a very old topic. I believe that since many years ago, this stress management, this topic has already existed. So my question here is, are y'all sure you want to manage stress? Okay, y'all can let me know later. Is this really what you want? Is this stress management? Because different people, when they bring this topic of stress management, of course, their point of view is different. The way they share is different as well. Okay, and today I would like to share on my point of view what stress is actually what about, and maybe what can we do about it. Okay. So what is stress? Okay, stress occurs when pressure exceeds your perceived ability to cope. Okay, this is according to Palmer in his book. Okay, so when you start to feel, when do you know you start to feel stress? So when you start to feel that the thing that you starting not able to cope, that one is called stress. Okay, and different people have different level of stress because different people perceive stress differently. So maybe both of you are given the same task by your supervisor, but another person could be maybe pretty much overwhelmed, where else you'll take it like, oh, it's still very easy for me. I don't know why he or she is very stressed out with this. But please do understand that different people, they perceive stress very much differently, and their capability of actually handling stress is also different. If you would like to know how to handle stress more effectively based on your individual kind of personality or thing like that, maybe you would like to see a counselor, and maybe we can talk about it and see how we can actually help you in managing your stress. But basically, this talk is really general. I hope you will set somehow a guideline to help you all to manage your stress. Okay, so stress is something very real. Okay, it's something real, but a lot of people perceive it as something like, because I can't see it, So even though I say I'm very stressed now, how do you know? Maybe through my facial expression, then you will know that I'm pretty much stressed. But overall, if somebody say I'm very stressed, or something like that, of course, some you can see, some you can't see. Some actually really it starts to lead to another. Maybe some stress leads to depression. Okay, I give you an example of what happened. I think 2 days ago, maybe. I think this news actually, because it happened in Ipoh, Perak, so it was actually, even maybe before I say, you already have that idea already. It's actually about a manager that, he posted a video on himself, and he managed to say some few things about the management in his company, and then after that he died, passed away. What you call that? So it actually starts from a stress, okay, and it's something very real, and it affects both the body and the mind. Okay, and do keep note that stress and pressure is pretty much different. Okay, of course, when you can still handle it, it's just a certain pressure. Maybe you get some pressure from your supervisor for, like, hey, I want to probably what your supervisor, your task by today. Okay, that was a little bit of pressure, but nearing the deadline of the task that your supervisor give and you're not able to do, then that one it becomes a stress. Okay, and every human being, actually, we need to have a certain level of pressure in order for us to perform, or else you didn't want to move because you don't have a motivation to move. You don't want to do anything, actually, basically, because there's nothing for you to do. There's no task. There's nothing to do. Why would you need to worry or what you have to do next, right? You can just relax and enjoy the day. But when it comes that you have something to do, there's a task that you have to deliver, then you start to do, okay, I need to do it because I have to submit by tomorrow or maybe by next week. It depends on what type of person you are. That was another topic. But if you are more of the proactive type, you say, okay, even though I have to submit next week, but I can do now because I'm free. But some people say, okay, I think it's the deadline is next week, so I can relax and enjoy first. Maybe a day or two before I will do it. Okay, and the next one is when stress is triggered. Stress is triggered when our ego is put on the line. When somebody challenge you, then you start to feel the stress. Okay, these are a few examples of what actually stress is actually all about. And I believe everyone here, every single of you listening to me know what is stress and already have experienced it. If somebody don't know what is stress, maybe we can meet up later and we can talk about it. Okay. Okay. Do you know, this is very interesting. Do you know stress has a negative effect? Okay. So what do you get from having stress? You have neck pain, headaches, stomach cramps, lower back pain, sore shoulders, muscle spasms, tremors, twitches. Okay, this is one. Okay, the next one, what happened? You get gaining, you start to feel, how can stress actually related to weight gain? Some actually may have experienced it, some may not know what is the correlation or anything that has to do. Okay, when you are stressed, our body will what you call that? Discrete kind of hormone is called cortisol, and this cortisol actually helps us to eat even more, especially junk food. Okay, and especially during this MCO, CMCO season. Okay, and by eating junk food, of course, or maybe stress eating, you call it, you will definitely gain weight. Okay, and because of a not very much healthy diet, your blood pressure will go up, and your stomach secretes more acids, and your cholesterol is up. Okay, because of unhealthy diet and whatever stress. Yes, and your blood clots faster. And of course, these are all your physical, and the psychological is you will have anxiety, depression, or breakdowns. Okay, I will talk a little bit here on anxiety and depression. Okay, and breakdown is actually related. When you are stressed, or a stress that was not actually properly handled. Okay, maybe you are pretty much stressed, and sometimes you think that it will go away, but sometimes people who don't handle stress pretty much well, you think that it has go away. Actually, it didn't really go away. It will have this kind of psychological effects where you have anxiety, okay, or palpitations, or some people call it, because when they're pretty much stressed, they won't know what to do, and maybe the things has gone over and they think that it's all over, but sometimes it leaves effects to the body. Okay, maybe we'll talk a little bit more on that if you have questions on it. Okay, so if you know all this, like just now I've mentioned, all this negative effect, and if you know all this, why are you still stressed? Okay, so that's my question to you. As I say, everybody has actually gone through stress before, but if you know these are actually the symptoms, these are the signs, these are the problems, and why are you still stressed about? Why are you so stressed about? Okay, if you feel that you need a session, you can talk about it. You can actually approach our PCS, our psychological and counseling services, on this matter. But now I would like to just tell a little bit on, why are you still stressed? That's my question to you. Maybe if you can answer me, then maybe you can let me know. If you know that stress actually gives you so much of negative things, why are you still stressed? Okay, so let's see what actually causes stress. Okay, the number one I put is actually perception. Okay, it's actually on how you view things. This is very important because once you change your perception, you view from another perspective, things will be different. Okay. Challenges. Maybe you have challenges on completing the task, or maybe you have challenges even to pay your bills. You feel very much stressed. Okay. Procrastination. I think this is very common among our students. Maybe it happens to me as well. Sometimes I do procrastinate. I have to be saying I'm pretty much guilty of that. But I will have an idea roughly when will I do it, so I don't be overstressed, because if I have not done my things and I have to submit by today or tomorrow, then I'll pretty much actually very much stressed. Or maybe tonight I don't have to sleep in order to complete the task. But if I procrastinate, I'll make sure that I have enough time to complete my task. Okay, deadline. Okay, maybe your supervisor will call you and say, I need this by now. Don't even have time for you to prepare, but you need to do it now. And you are maybe pretty much a lack of resources, or pretty much lack of information that you are not able to complete your task. Okay, lack of rest. This is very much common. When you lack of sleep, you don't rest well, pretty much you have low tolerance towards people. Actually, it's related, and you pretty much very stressed up. And especially some people, they just talk as normal. Normally, you can actually take them or tolerate them, but when you're not enough rest, you have a lot of things to do. They come out with maybe a silly joke, and you pretty much want to feel like you want to smack them for appearing. It's very common actually. So actually, it actually interrelated to one another. It's not some big science thing. It's just something very basic, which I think all of you have known. But again, even though you know, why are you still stressed? Okay. Another one is very important. Last time, before MCO, before all this COVID-19 thing happened, we used to have free breakfast in our office. We encourage students to take breakfast, actually, because we understand the importance of breakfast. Because when you start to skip your breakfast, you skip one of the most important meal of the day. And it actually affects your performance. You may not realize it. You might say, oh, I don't have a habit taking breakfast. When I say breakfast, of course, the first thing that comes to your mind is nasi lemak, because that's what we give during the teh tarik session. But not necessarily nasi lemak. You can just eat biscuit and a cup of milk or something like that. It's just a simple light breakfast would do, not necessarily nasi lemak. Okay, so remember, get a bite. Okay, it will help you to cope with the day better, and you may not feel so miserable. Sometimes hungry and angry becomes hangry. So because at first you are hungry, and then something happened, you became angry, and then after that, both combined together, you became hangry. So we wouldn't want that to happen. Okay, so if you want to have a better image of yourself when you meet people, please have breakfast. Okay, it's the most important. If you tell me you want to skip dinner, I think it's okay, but I'm scared that before you go to sleep, you start to feel hungry and you start munching on something even more unhealthy. All right. Okay. Recognize stress. Okay. This is very important, because if you wanted to go far, I believe you have to get the basics right. This is actually from a song, which if you're free, you can go and YouTube it. I didn't want to show here because I understand that if once I have some internet connection, the whole thing will lag, or some people will lag on their side because of the internet connection kind of thing. So if you are interested to know what song is this about, I'll let you know in the title later. Okay, but yeah, recognize stress, because foundation is very important. You have to get the foundation so that you won't be shaky If you want to build a building, the foundation must be right. The basic must be strong. All right. So next, okay, things happy people do to stress less. So there are 9 things here. Okay. No, can y'all see? I think can see, right? Or it's just me talking. Can somebody give me some response? Because I cannot see. I don't know how's it gonna be.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so there are 9 things happy people do to stress less. Okay, but first the person decided to be happy first before they stress lesser. Again, as I mentioned, everybody has a level of stress, an amount of stress that is on that particular person. Okay, but how do we view the things, or what do we do about it that actually make the difference or something like that? Okay, number 1, okay, know what you're trying to achieve and why. Okay, set, that means you have an objective, you have a mission, a vision, or something, a reason why. Okay, know why you have to do this. Okay, so you don't just like blindly do and you don't even know what's the reason at the end. You just realize that whatever you're doing actually waste of time and you got very pissed off about it. Okay, and number 2, do less by focusing exclusive on what's important. So those things that you do not need to worry, the things that you don't need to constantly, you just sometimes may omit it. It will just give you additional stress. Sometimes my boss give me additional tasks. I will just tell him, this kind of work is just adding some stress to me. If there's no need to do, just don't do it. If you ask me if I really said it to my boss, yes. You actually determine why is it. If you can justify why you do not need to do it, then you don't have to do it. Why adding tasks to your work, right? And why adding stress to you? Okay, think progress, not perfection. I believe that I've seen some students meeting me, and some actually the stress are actually caused because they have this idea of being a perfectionist. Okay, some of them maybe are born, or maybe they wanted to. It's not really born. I believe very much they are pretty much shaped by the environment. Being a perfectionist, they want everything perfect. If can, they want just to score best and they want to be top. It's okay. There's nothing wrong. But you have to know that when you have start to have this idea, you not only stress yourself up, sometimes you stress other people around you because you have this kind of ideal kind of thing. So if you can manage, why not? Okay. The 4th one is cleanse your heart every night. Okay. Before you sleep, maybe you would like to do some reflection. What have I done today? Okay. And I think it's related to number 5 somehow. It's actually purge untrue thoughts. This is really important because sometimes the stress is actually caused by yourself because you yourself is limiting yourself. Okay, I cannot see you again. I would think that some of you can relate what I'm saying here because some of you believe that certain people say something, or maybe, okay, like me. I think I'm very fat. Okay, maybe I am fat, that's the fact. But I look ugly because I'm fat. But again, this is just how I think. Okay, if you feel good, you feel beautiful, it doesn't matter whether you're fat or thin. Okay, so those thoughts may be untrue because you yourself are limiting yourself and putting it to believe that people are thinking that way. Let me tell you something very interesting. Sometimes people don't even really notice every single bit of you. They just notice about themselves. It's not about you. So only you notice a lot about you because you are you yourself. Do I make sense? Do you understand me? But something like that. It's actually, people don't actually view it. Maybe someone said something hurtful to you today. Okay, 10 years later, okay, maybe 5 years later down the road, if you ask them or confront them on this issue, I don't think so they actually remember they actually said that. But on your end, when you're on the receiving end, you tend to be more hurtful about it. Okay, so this kind of thing is only you yourself, because at the end of the day, other people are very busy leading their own life and you are leading your life. Okay, let's see. Okay, number 6 is expect some stress, definitely. Accept of it and let go of it. Okay, so we have definitely stress. Again, I said accept it. If you feel that you can take it, if you can manage it, and then let go of it if you can. If it's nothing, none of your concern, let it go. Should I start singing? Let it go, let it go. So number 7, okay, be kind to your body. Yes, because when you stress, you're actually being very harsh to your body. You're not treating your body well, especially when your body needs the sleep, need the rest, but you're not giving your body the rest. Okay. Do one nice thing for yourself every day. Actually, this is a little bit of reward. Actually, a little bit of reward. Okay. Maybe you feel that you work very hard. I think just a little bit. If you ask me, what is one nice thing that I can do for myself every day, is actually being grateful. It's actually one very nice thing I think I do for myself. When I learn to be grateful, I learn that everything that is given to me is actually a blessing. It's not something that I deserve, but something that is given by God. This is just something that I feel. And the second thing, maybe I compliment, hey, you look beautiful today. I think when you praise yourself, actually, automatically you're praising God on His creation, isn't it? So something that you can do, or maybe you did a good job today, you know, or maybe it can be anything. Okay. And number 9, simplify. Okay. Sometimes things don't need to be complicated. I think last few days ago, there's this someone just dropped me a message on LinkedIn saying about self-development under mentorship or something like that. My question is very easy. I ask, is it Amway or not? At the end, the person didn't reply me. He come and ask, instead of answering my question, he asked me more question. So at the end, my question is, I just tell him, is it Amway or not? He didn't reply me. I also don't know what's the answer, but it doesn't matter because my life still goes on. It's still beautiful. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, stress is also caused, okay, by how you value the things. As I say, it's your perception. Okay, let's see on my slide here. You can see on the things that you can't control and the things that you can control. Okay, if you look at the graph, you see you can't control people's feelings. Yes, you can't control my feelings. Okay, you can't control other people's words. You can't control my words. I'm gonna say whatever I like here, but of course I respect all of you. Okay, and of course you can't control other people's action. So whatever I'm gonna do here, y'all can't control. I'm just gonna continue doing it. Okay, and what you can control, you see, you have every single control on your words, like how I'm controlling on my words, on my actions, like what I'm doing just now, on how I think, and who I want to spend my time with, and my work ethic, and how I spend my time. This is a change to me because I'm giving the example of myself. But again, on yourself, it's like you can control on your words. On your side, because you cannot control all my cutesy things, you can control on your side. You can control your words. You can control your actions. You can control your thoughts. You can control who you want to spend your time with. Okay, you can control your work ethic, especially for me, I'm working from home, but I try my best to work from home and really work. Okay, and how you spend your time. Okay, this one I think we have another speaking on time management. I hope that you can leverage very much on that and be benefited from it. Okay, a little bit of time management I want to say here is actually not really much on time management, but on how you manage yourself. Everybody is given 24 hours a day, but how you manage yours. Okay, so let's go to the next one. 50 ways to take a break. You see, they're teaching you how to de-stress. Let's see, because there's 50 ways, so let me choose something. You see, there's let go of something, there's meditate, take deep belly breaths. Okay, this is I'm not sure if you find it, but it's somewhere on the screen. Okay, take deep belly breaths. Let me take deep breath. I'm going to teach you a very easy breathing exercise. If you start to have some maybe panic attack or some anxiety, this is a temporary solution. Okay, first, if y'all be seated up straight, let me demo. Okay, let's take in a deep breath and then maybe we hold it about maybe 5 seconds and then we slowly exhale. Okay, let's do it. Okay, exhale. Let's inhale again. Slowly exhale. Make sure when you exhale, you go like. There's some people like sigh, like after something they relieve, they feel like something like that. If you start to feel, you will start to feel your body start relaxing. You may repeat And yeah, because sometimes when we are too immersed doing something or thinking of something, maybe of doing something, sometimes we forget to breathe, or maybe we cut our breathing short. And actually this somehow it adds stress to our body. So, you know, when you start to feel like again tensed up, your hands start to shake, or, you know, panic attack, anxiety, this is what you can do. Okay, deep breath. This is a really short one. Okay, but if you feel you need a better kind of solution, another one is actually exercise, strenuous exercise. If for me, I will go for cardio. I love to run actually, because I found my happiness in running. Because of this MCO, I'm pretty much limited. I'm not sure I can go out and run now. But before, when it was RMCO, I do go out and run when I have the time. Okay, it's very interesting. You see, there's a 50 ways to take a break. There's actually learn something new. This is actually very much coincidence. If you realize on the emails that I sent out, I sent out to postgraduates. There's our series of learn something new. This is actually an initiative by PCS, okay, by me and PCS, to help postgraduates to learn something new. Okay, so that you know that every day as you leave, you are learning something new. So we hope that wherever we share, or if you have a suggestion, please let us know, so that we continue to look into that and we share to other people on how to learn something new. Okay, see, there's listening to music, take a nap, you know. Yeah, there's a lot you can, if y'all want, y'all can take a picture of this. And one thing that I would like to highlight is forgive someone. I do understand sometimes you keep grudges, or someone that you maybe is doing something very hurtful to you, or you know. But if you learn to forgive someone, it's not easy. But I can tell you, once you learn how to forgive, you literally lead off the whole baggage from your body. The stress will cut off by actually half. And again, as I say, when you change your perception, like on your things that you can control and the things that you cannot control, basically you already cut almost half of the load already. Because once you realize that what you can do will change something, sometimes that person reacted that way is because of the way you treated it, or maybe there's something that you do that trigger that emotion, or maybe you say I haven't done anything, the person is already like that. Okay, so if the person is already like that, so what can we do in order to change the aggravated person or the very angry person? You know, there's something that we can ease, or maybe do you want me to buy you a drink, or you know, maybe you like to take a deep breath, ask the person to take a deep breath to calm down. You know, it can be anything. Okay, but these are just something. Okay, sometimes being kind to others is actually being kind to ourselves, but somehow we seem to forget about it because, as usual, human beings are very selfish. I'm saying in a very general term, because at a certain point of time, we will think about ourselves than other people. Why would I want to think about other people when me myself is such a mess? Isn't it? Okay, so I think I'm done with this. If y'all want, y'all can ask me questions later. I think my slide is going to end already. Why I'm going very fast and very much this one is because I understand that it's pretty much stressful to listen to someone talking, and it's very boring. Okay, let's look what's the other things. Summary to stress less. Okay, so make sure you are well rested. Okay, this is really much important. Okay, try not to skip breakfast or lunch, because it's actually the most important meal. Almost the breakfast is almost important. Lunch is okay, and dinner. Let me see something about dinner. I realized that our students have habit. I won't say all, but majority have habit of having heavy dinner. Sometimes they don't eat breakfast, they just eat brunch, and then they have a very heavy dinner. It's, according to diet wise, I don't think so. It's very healthy, because at night is the time where you are slowing down your activities, but you put in a very large amount of food in your body. Okay, another one is exercise. This is, as I mentioned, I run around. Okay, I work in a manufacturing company before, where the company is really stressful. I will say this way, it's really stressful working for the company, and there are people playing politics and whatnot. Maybe some of you can relate because maybe you have worked before. So how do I cope with stress then? Is I actually run. I start to exercise. I developed a habit of exercising, and I found that actually running really helps. The angrier I am, the more upset I am, the faster I run. So I run until I'm very tired. So the next thing is I'm no longer angry about it anymore. So if you find that you want to try, or maybe you're very angry or upset or something, maybe you want to try my method. Okay, and the other one, I think the take deep, slower breath. This one I have mentioned earlier in the slide. This is really important because the way you breathe actually really will affect you. Because sometimes when we take, like even now, I'm taking short breath. Actually, I'm inhaling very much short, and because I'm talking pretty much fast, if you realize, because I want to really quickly be done with this. And yeah, so I have completed one of my tasks. So yeah, take deep, slower breath so you don't get so much stress. Okay. And if you really need, speak it out, articulate. You know, if you feel that you are being oppressed, especially maybe by your supervisor, please speak it out. When I say speak it out, articulate, I didn't mean that you go and raise your voice and challenge. Speak out, sir or ma'am. I think pretty much, or doctor, or how you address your supervisor. I'm pretty much stressed really, and I think that this is beyond my control or beyond my ability, or maybe it's not even my task. I think there's a need to speak up. And if you feel that even by speaking out it doesn't help, maybe you would like to lodge a report on to certain we have a student advocacy, where this is a department, not a department, actually it's a unit actually to help the students to if you have any issues or concern about something that maybe you cannot settle but you require another party to help you. Student advocacy is one. It can be anything. We have complaints, or we have received reports, sorry, on sexual harassment. There's something that you feel that nobody can help you, but there is a unit there. Yes, it's just an example on sexual harassment, or it can be maybe your lecturer is contacting you, or maybe is giving you not making things easy for you, I will put it this way, but purposely adding you some tasks. You can actually, if you have proof properly, is even better, and you can lodge your issues here. Okay, reason why I'm telling you this, because I do understand that some stress, it can be caused by other party, but on your side again, what you can do, I'm letting you know because I felt that there are a lot of students that are not aware of what is the function of this unit. It's called Student Advocacy. It's one of the unit under the Center of Student Services, or previously known as Student Support Services Department, which is my department. It's just that the unit I belong is Psychological and Counseling Services. This unit that I'm saying is Student Advocacy. Mr. Pilus is there. Maybe some of the international students may know him. Yeah, or maybe some of you may know him. Okay, fix the knot. When I say fix the knot here is when there is an issue, it's a knot. So who are the ones that are actually there? I think there are some Chinese participants, right? In Chinese, it's called 解铃人还须系铃人. It actually means that if you want to fix the knot, you have to start from the one that tie the knot. Okay, the Chinese kind of, is it called a proverb, something like that lah. That you have to actually fix the knot by actually finding the person, or finding, then if the issue can be resolved, then it's good. Okay, and learn to relax. Just now we have 50 ways on how you can relax. So get one, and maybe you want to do something about it. Okay, laugh out loud if you feel there's a need to watch a comedy or something silly. Try to laugh out loud. And one last one, cry if you need to. We have many years ago, there's someone that came to me and actually have this issue. There's a lot of things that happen and it breaks her heart pretty much, and she's really very much devastated. But even what makes her even more sad is she can't cry, no matter how hard she wanted to do. You know, girls are normally like known easily to cry, but she has this trouble even to cry. So yeah, so if you want to, maybe you want to release maybe some sort of emotions, maybe you want to talk to our people from our unit, Psychological and Counseling Services, PCS. If you feel that, why am I keep on like saying PCS? Because my boss keep on tell me, remember, please tell, it's PCS, Psychological and Counseling Services. Maybe because we are not very famous with our new name, so we want everyone to know it's PCS. It's like professional communication. Like one of the undergraduate subject. I think some of them would know. Okay, so thank you. I'm so glad it's over. What did I take? Wow, I think it's just nice. Oh, when I talk so fast, so it takes 40 minutes. deliver. So, Kadi, I have managed to complete it within 40 minutes, my task. And now I open for Q&A. Okay. Now I saw Gali asking question. What kind of exercise we can engage to reduce our stress the most? As I mentioned earlier, it's actually cardio, running for me. But again, different people, the body maybe needs a different type of exercise. Maybe you want to figure out, you try out. If can, do something that you enjoy so that you can do it consistently and continuously. Okay, this is a very interesting question. What are the early warning signs of stress? Okay, this one is a little bit like you start to throw your temper easier. You raise your voice easily. This is one very obvious sign. You just snap. People just like your friend, I told you, when you're so busy and suddenly someone comes with a stupid joke or a silly joke, which is normal. The person always has been like that. And then you just suddenly blast at the person. You are knowing you're on the line already. Because normally the person comes, you have a lot of tolerance for him or her. But just for one fine day, the person just come in a very jolly mood and you just blast at the person, which is the person is pretty much innocent. Okay, this is Bawo, very interesting question. What's the relationship between stress and laziness? Can one be stressed due to laziness? I think laziness is one thing, stress is one thing. Maybe laziness is maybe because you are lazy it will cause stress. I think it works that way even more. Because how can I put this? I'm not sure if you heard. Maybe some of you have heard this lady. It's a Mel. I think Mel Gibson. That's her name. I can't really remember. But she came up with this 5-second rule. If you start to feel that you do not want to do anything, where you will call this lazy, you try and see whether will you do this 5-second rule. You try to call 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you have this task in your mind, and you start doing it. That's what the 5-second rule is all about. That means you think of a task that you have to do, and within these 5 seconds, you just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just do your task. And you feel that if you're not moving, then you're lazy. You didn't want to do anything actually, basically, because you just don't want to do. You are the one who didn't want to change. You are the one who didn't want to take initiative. Okay, so Bavo, I hope I answered your question. It's about your laziness and stress. Okay, how do we help someone, for example, our friend, to settle down since they do not realize that they are having stress? Okay, this is very good. So you're trying to say that you realize that your friends are stressed. Okay. One very good is maybe you want to talk to the person, your friend, okay? If you want, you can actually encourage or anything. But do understand one thing, your friend is your friend's life. If the person do not want to change, you can't really do anything about it. So you don't have to be very much like, oh, I want to change, I want to help her solve her problem. This is a sharing from me or from our services. We don't help to solve students' problem because the problem is the students. What we can do is we just help to guide, and maybe we can discuss on some methods or alternative in order to help the students. But we never try to solve the students' problem, okay? Because the problem sometimes cannot be solved, okay? And if your friend Nabiha wanting to if you feel that they are very much stressed, maybe you talk. I feel that you have changed, maybe your attitude has changed. Are you very stressed, or what are you going through? Are there something that you're going through? You can be a listener, not necessarily have to go and see a counselor, provided if you're a good listener. Actually, there's no need. If you have a friend who are good listener, who are good support, I think that's very good. I'm not trying to say that don't come to see counselors, but what I'm saying that that's why we have peer counselors, but they call it pembimbing rakan sebaya in the university. Something like your friend actually is being a support instead of a counselor. But from a counselor, because we are professional, we give from a perspective that are different than your friend. We can see things more subjective in comparison to your friend, which maybe is your peer. Okay. Constantly feel bored. I want to ask something, because I have to identify why are you feeling bored, and possibly accumulated fatigue. I don't know how your fatigue was accumulated, but yes, if you are lacking of sleep, lacking of rest, you are being stressed. Okay, again, everybody has stress. If somebody tell me that they are not stressed, I'm not saying that person is lying. It's most probably the person handled the stress pretty well. like maybe through the ways that I've discussed just now, ways on how you can manage your stress. Okay, so if you feel that you're starting to feel bored and you're starting to feel tired, it's most probably, it could be one it's not to say, it could be one sign of burnout actually. It's not a form of stress anymore. It's stress that may lead to burnout. Maybe you are not being appreciated at work. Maybe that's why you're starting to feel that whatever you're doing actually is pretty much aimless. That's why if we may go back to one of the slides earlier, we talk about know why you're doing this. What is the purpose that you're doing this? If you know the purpose, then why are you feeling bored? What was actually the cause? Actually, your question is actually very much on the surface. Wherever it is, we have to look down more. Again, if you want to talk to me or anything, you can just send me an email or you can text me, okay? So I'm going to leave here because I think you all need to break before the next session starts, okay? Thank you for all of you. I apologize if what I say is wrong or, I've offended you, I apologize. And thank you for having me, Gali and Nabiha. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so before we move on to the second speaker, I would like to extend my thank you to Ms. Jin. Thank you so much for your sharing and everything about the stress and also the time management. I hope that everyone can apply all the tips that has been shared. So, and then I think we can move on to the second speaker, which is Dr. Abdul Rashid with the title Time Management Strategies for the GOT Awards aspirants. So I think Dr. Abdul Rashid can take the floor. So thank you, Ms. Jin.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Abdul Rashid Saeed, and today I'm going to be talking to you about time management strategies for Graduate on Time Award aspirants. Actually, why we want to do this session is for us to be able to motivate ourselves to be able to achieve this very, very important award. I'll share with you about some of the benefits, what it is, and how you can really actually achieve it through your academic or through your period of studies here in UTP. And this same technique can be applied to your other life engagement and achievements, and you can see a lot of good results if you can learn the tips and apply them as appropriate. Okay, so without much further ado, I would like to share with you the basic general content about this presentation. So I would like to start by saying a bit about my background and the little achievements I have done within the time period that we have in UTP. I will share with you also about goal setting tips, what goals are, how you can set them and achieve them. Okay, then I would like to share with you the best time management tips I have used for myself, and you can as well imbibe the same tips. And then later on, I will share with you about the Graduate on Time Award, the tips, what it is, and what are the basic benefits you can benefit from it as a Graduate on Time awardee. Okay, then lastly, I will share some useful quotes that can motivate you to stay upright and keep pursuing your goals. Ladies and gentlemen, about myself, I am a Nigerian. I just finished my PhD in a span of 2.5 years. And at the moment, I'm a postdoctoral research scientist in UTP. I have been a lecturer in Nigeria before coming here, and up to now, I'm still a lecturer over there. So during my time in UTP, I actually studied civil engineering, and I mostly focus on developing models that can be applied to solve water-related problems in our society. All right. During my stay in UTP, I managed to publish about 6 research articles from my thesis. Why I'm saying all this, just to show you the little I have achieved over the little time I stayed in UTP, and maybe we can motivate one another to be able to replicate or do even better things, right? So I managed to publish about 6 research articles from my thesis, and I collaborated with my research groups to publish more than 25 research articles. I have secured about 6 research grants, and I have filed 2 patents during my stay as a PhD student in UTP. I have received a number of awards from the department, from like the HOD's Academic Excellence Award to the International Innovation Exhibition in KL, which is the ITEX Gold Medal, as well as the Malaysian Road Conference Invention, Innovation and Exhibition. I also got an award from there. So, and I've participated in more than 10 international exhibitions in UTP through the period of my PhD. And I've attended a total of 4 international conferences. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't do just academic events during my PhD. I tried to engage myself in other extracurricular activities. For example, I was part of the 4 people that were sponsored by UTP to attend the University Scholars Leadership Symposium in 2019, organized by the Humanitarian Affairs Asia. I also am the immediate past president of the Postgraduate Students Council Society of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and currently I'm the advisor to that society. And I'm currently a member of the PGSE Exco, the 2020 lineup, in charge of Training and Development Bureau. Right, I do participate in a lot of corporate social responsibility programs that UTP organize to let our local communities feel the presence of UTP within us. I participate in a lot of other activities, sports. I organize sports. I participated in sports. I participated and won awards in 3-minute thesis and poster competitions as well. And lastly, just recently, I got the Brand Advocate, UTP Brand Advocate Award. I got the Gold Award, the Student Award, Gold Medal Award, okay? So how did I manage to achieve all this within the time frame I have as a PhD student? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that the basic secrets I have in achieving. To some extent, some people even ask me whether you have extra time than us. Maybe you have more than 24 hours than us. So the secret actually is, number one, I understood what goals are and how to set them and achieve them. Specifically, what are goals and how do you set and achieve your goals? Understood the basics of time management strategies that you can apply anywhere. Okay, and then I understood what is required of me as a student of UTP. I mean the graduation requirement. How long do I have to stay? And what are the things I need to do to consider myself or to be defined a graduate of UTP? So you have to look at some of those key things I will share with you much later. And then I try to remain positive always and align myself with positivity, and I do a lot of prayers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by sharing with you what goals are actually. You see, a goal is an idea of the future or a desired result that any student, any staff, anybody may want to achieve, he or she envision to achieve. You can set any amount of goal, but then how do you achieve it? How do you define your goals? You see, there are what we call generally goal statements. For you to achieve any goal, try to understand and apply some of these goal statements. For example, number one, you can ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? You have to tell yourself the benefits. How will you achieve it? You have to at least be specific with the methods. Okay. When do you want to achieve it? You have to be specific with the time frame. Okay. For any goal you want to achieve in life, you can define it using these goal statements. Right. Then let me tell you about why people don't set goals. Most of our people, they fear setting goals. They don't set goals. Why? Because of reasons such as fear of rejection or failure. You are afraid to be rejected. Yes, this requirement is too big for me. Or it could be due to the lack of knowledge of goal setting. You don't know what goal setting is and how to actually go about setting it, right? Don't lack you lack ambition. Some of us don't have dreams. They just follow the flow. What is happening is just what is happening. You have to think ahead. What do you want to achieve in life? What are your goals? What do you dream of becoming? So you have to be able to be specific about your ambition, right? Some of us as well cannot leave their comfort zone. You see, setting goals require you to leave your comfort zones. And a lot of people I know, they don't want to leave their comfort zone. It's better to stay in their comfort zone than to set a goal. Okay, so you have to imbibe the habit of moving out of your comfort zone. And then it could be due to previous disappointments you have received. A lot of us have received disappointments. Yeah, so many failures. But that doesn't mean you should give up. You should endure to continue striving and applying different techniques until you get your goals. So previous disappointments should not be a reason why you should not set goals. Okay? So let me even share with you again why goals fail generally. Most of our goals do fail because we don't write them down. So for you to have a goal, you have to be specific and try to write it down. Writing it down could mean you even write it in your memory so it sticks. So every time you easily remember it. Okay? So goals fail as well because they are unrealistic. You can't just come up and tell me that you want to lose 20 kg in a span of 3 weeks. Of course, that is unrealistic. So you have to be realistic with yourself. Some people think you can just come to UTP and get your PhD in 6 months. Ladies and gentlemen, they call it PhD and they give it a scope, a time frame of 3 years. The people that define it like that, they know the intensity of work you have to put in. So for you to think about getting it in 3 months or in 6 months or in 1 year, you're deceiving yourself. So that's why some of the goals fail. They are unrealistic. We keep changing as well. Maybe another reason why our goals keep failing. So for us to achieve our goals, we have to be specific and we have to stick to them. Don't change them. Rather, try to revisit and try to devise means to make them better and stronger. Okay? So don't set time. They don't set time frames. Are one of the reasons why goals fail. People just put in the goal, but they don't put time frame. I want to lose 10 kg. I just keep quiet. Of course, I can take 20 years or 10 years to lose 10 kg. That's not specific. So for you to achieve that goal, you have to endure to set time frame for it. Okay? Most of our goals lack accountability. We don't revisit our goals. We have to revisit them from time to time to see what are the areas that we are doing well, what are the areas that we need to improve, and what are the possible things that we can reschedule to make sure we achieve our target. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, understanding this and the basic concept of what goals are and how to set and achieve them, I think I have the best part of the achievement. When you want to set any goals, make sure you follow the SMART goals, which is SMART goal setting. Most of us know this from nursery schools. Okay. So by SMART, the S means you have to be specific, means it is clear and written down. You have to have your goal specifically. You have to be specific, you have to make it clear, and you have to write it down. Okay? The M is the measurable. You have to make it measurable. Make sure the metric units are properly assigned and clearly defined. Okay, so you can say something like, I want to lose 5 kg in a span of 2 months. Okay, so you already put the units. The 2 months and the 5 kg are the units that define your goals. Okay? And then you have to try to make the goals achievable. Okay, you have to make sure that it is achievable, it is doable. You can't just say you finish a PhD in 2 or 3 months. You know, that's quite not achievable. Okay, so try to set goals that are doable as well as action oriented. You can be able to do it and it's achievable within reach. Okay, so the next thing, the letter R could mean relevance. Okay, it has to be relevant to you. Is it really worth your time and effort to put in this goal achievement? Okay, so you have to weigh in all these to be able to make sure that your goals are set to be smart. And the last one is has to be timely. You set time frame, when to start and when to finish. If you know how to work with time, then most of your problems are going to go automatically. automatically a lot of your problems will go. Okay, to some extent that people will even be asking you whether you have a device that manufactures time or something like that. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the best part is to learn the goal setting techniques, and the second part is effective time management strategies. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you that yes, whether you are Tamil or you are Chinese or you are a Malay or you are an African or you are male, female, you are from whatever age, okay, we all have 24 hours. Nobody gets more and nobody gets less. It all depends on how you utilize your own, that you can see it as 24 hours, or some people will still need more to back up because they feel like what they are doing require more than 24 hours. But the truth is, nobody need more than 24 hours. If you just know how to effectively arrange and manage your time, you can achieve more in less time, and you can even have time for other things. All right. So here I'm going to share with you some of the key techniques to be able to manage your time very effectively. But first of all, we need to understand what is this time we are talking about. But these are some thought-provoking questions I would like to share with you. Are you busy all day and don't get as much done? This is a question to all of you. Are you busy all day but don't get as much done? If it happens to you, please type yes in the description. Do you often feel like 24 hours is too small for you? Yes, sometimes you feel like maybe I need to make it 36 hours in place of my 24. I can't have enough of it. It's too small for me. It's quite too fast. Or I will ask you, are you struggling to get the GOT award in UTP? You feel like the time is, you can get it? No, you cannot. You can get it? No, you cannot within the time frame. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that you are not alone in this journey. A lot of people are struggling with time management, are struggling to achieve their objectives, are struggling to graduate from this UTP. But then follow me up so I can share with you some of the key things that you can adopt to really improve or enhance your efficiency and performance in this university. Okay, so but then before we go too far, what is this time that people keep talking about? You see, time, according to the research, is even much more valuable than money. This is a very unique and important quote that we have to know to understand the importance of this time, because you can always get more money, but you can never get more time. So you have to treat it wisely. It's a very valuable resource, very, very unique and very, very important. So how do people define time from the research point of view and from the normal man point of view? What is time really? You see, it's an indefinite continued progress of existence and events that occur in an apparently irreversible succession from the past to the present and into the future. I'm sure a lot of you are finding it difficult to even understand this definition, this simple definition by Wikipedia. So this time is that critical. It's even more critical because people say it's difficult to manage. You can't increase it. In fact, you can't stop it. And you even cannot store it for later use. So you are either using it wisely or you are not using it at all. You have to learn this very critical resource called time. Okay? Learn to manage it. So how do people, the layman like me and you, define time? You see, people define time in different. Some say time is slow when you wait. Some say it's fast when you are late. Some say it's short when you are happy. Some say it's very long when you are bored. And some say it's deadly when you are sad. And others say it's endless when you are in pain. You see, these are people's perception. These are people's definition, like me and you, about what this time, what this resource is called time. Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that today, the time is determined by your feelings and your psychological conditions and not by clocks. So this is general. Time is determined by your feelings and your psychological conditions and not by clocks. So try to be positive, try to imbibe the habit of positivity so that you can understand and define this time correctly to yourself. Right? So why do we need time management? These are general. This is just generic. We need time management to be able to save time and reduce stress. Just now we talk about stress. Okay? To function effectively, to have more control over our responsibilities. Okay? To help us prioritize our tasks, get more done in less time. To discipline ourselves. And lastly, to make sure we deliver what is promised during our studies and during our lifetime engagement. All right? Today I'm going to share with you my 7 most effective tips that I abide by throughout my stay in UTP to be able to effectively manage my time and to be able to graduate on time. Right? So the first tip, generic, is write a to-do list. Write a to-do list, as simple as it sounds. Every single day when I wake up, I pick up my jotter and I write down the key things I need to do for that day. From going to school, from repairing my car, to going to the grocery shop, to seeing my supervisor, to going to the lab, and all the things in between. I have to list down all and check them out as appropriately. Okay, it may sound simple, but it's the most effective thing to do to start your day with, because by doing this, it will enable you to know what is essential and what is largely unnecessary, so that you can know the main reason why you are up for today. What are your tasks? What do you need to achieve? You just go straight to the point. And when you finish it on time, you'll find more time to go and play, to go and do other things, to go and jog and other things, right? The second thing is you have to avoid the weapons of mass distraction. You know, we call it weapons of mass distraction because they are really destructive enough. These weapons can be controlled. We live actually in a world of distraction, a lot of distraction from all these guys. So the best thing to do is to try to make sure you silent the phone, but you have to attend to the most important tasks. Maybe notifications, maybe your boss may need you at any time. You have to be conscious of. But then all other distractions, try as much as you can to minimize. No, you cannot eliminate, but you can minimize, right? Three is to take breaks when walking. When you're walking, make sure you take breaks. Taking break could mean different things, okay? Try to do something out of the work you are doing, out of research, out of your lab work, something different. You see, research have shown that the top 10% of achievers, they take at least a minimum of 15 breaks, 15 minutes of a break in an hour. 15 minutes of a break in an hour. And just now, Tim just shared with us the 50 things on how to take a break. Okay? So you try to find just one of them to just apply to yourself to learn to take a break. Okay? Taking a break, you will restore your energy and focus to the task or to the next task. All right? So imbibe the habit of disciplining yourself to take a break. Next thing is to break your big tasks into smaller chunks. Don't think you can do everything at a time. You cannot. Some tasks are specifically meant for you to break down, to be broken down into pieces. You can do them in 1 week. You can do them in a month. That's where when you come to UTP didn't tell you that you can do RPD in just 1 month. They tell you can do it in 3 months. They will give you time to acclimatize, to register, to understand the environment, and to start up other things. Okay, so for example, if you have a task of 20 hours, you can break it down to even 10 hours and do it twice, or you can even break it further to 4, 3, 3, 3, 3 hours and the likes, and you can achieve it by going gradually. So gradually you can achieve. So the best way to describe this is, you can say you eat the elephant. That's the word. You eat the elephant. How do you eat the elephant? Of course, you cannot eat it at once, ladies and gentlemen, but you can eat it when you take a single bite at a time. So how do you eat the elephant? A single bite at a time. So divide your time into chunks and start with the mind to finish it. And you can see yourself surprisingly finishing it. Right? So step 5 is to find your most productive time. You see, you have your own time that you are working at best. Maybe I work best at night. You work best in the morning. Your friend work best at night. So try not to copy your friend. Try not to copy your girlfriend. Try to imbibe and understand your most productive time and go by it. Working at your most productive time can give you 10 times more results than working at other times that you are not most productive. So start to understand what are your most productive times and try to stick to them and see yourself excelling and doing much better things. Okay. Step 6 is to set time frames for each task. You have to set time frame for each task. Every day you set the goals, you have to set time frame to prevent your work from dragging on and eating into the time reserved for other tasks. You have to be able to set time frame and abide by them. Right? Number 7 is quite actually the most important. You have to learn to prioritize your tasks. We all have different tasks in a day. But you have to classify them according to this quadrant. Urgent and important should be done now. You have to do it now. Once the task is urgent and is important, then you have to do it now. If it is urgent but it's not important, that means you can delegate it to someone else. It's urgent but it's not important. You can delegate someone else to do it. When it is important but not urgent, then you have to decide when to do it. It's important, but it's not urgent. So you can do it later today or you can do it later next week. Okay? So lastly, if it is not important and it's not urgent, ladies and gentlemen, imbibe the habit of deleting it because it's not important and it's not urgent. So delete it and concentrate on the most important tasks, whether urgent or otherwise. Okay, so try to master these quadrants and apply them to your daily schedules in terms of your research and other engagements. Okay, so these are the 7 tips that you can apply to do better, to do much more things in less time. So our main target for today is for you to be able to get the GOT award. Okay, so those tips of how to set goals and achieve it, and how to manage time and effectively put them together and push them here. With these tips that I'm going to share with you, you are going to do much better as a UTP student. Very easy. Okay, the first task is, what is this GOT? GOT is just the acronym for Graduate on Time Award. What it simply means is you graduate on time. What is on time? Okay, I will share with you what is on time and what is not on time later on. But then what are the benefits of you graduating on time and getting this prestigious award called the Graduate on Time? Benefits to the students, to the supervisor, to the department, and to the university at large. Okay, so when you graduate as a student on time, what it means is when you get an award, recognition from the university, and when you apply for your next job with someone who you finish from the same department with, it means you have an upper hand than that person, simply because you are able to achieve the certificate on time. So you are working very consciously of your time and you are an achiever within the time frame given to you. Okay, so with that award, you stand a chance to be better in terms of the selection process. Okay, so to your supervisor, you understand what they call the KPI in UTP. All our staff are struggling with the KPI. So if a supervisor has a GOT award, for any supervisor who has a student that has graduated as a GOT, that student have brought a plus to that supervisor because it added to his KPI. It's an added advantage. I remember when the UTP sent me the congratulatory message that I got the GOT award. My supervisor equally sent me a thank you message that you made me got the GOT award in my KPI. So the benefit is not only to you, it's to him as well as to the department. Each department submit the progress to the university on terms of how they are treating the students, how the students are coping. So having enough graduates on time awardees can promote the department in terms of ranking as well. And then to the university, a lot of benefits in terms of ranking on how much awardees, GOT awardees come from the university. Okay, so this is very important. So the first criteria, the first thing we need to look at whenever we think about this graduate on time award in UTP is the graduation requirements. When you first come to UTP, the first thing that should strike your mind is, what do I need to do to graduate? So I'm sharing with you for intake before January 2018. Before January 2018, that's my intake. All you need is just 2 index publications accepted or 1 journal publication for PhD with impact factor, and you will pass your research methodology as well as pass your Viva. That's all, and the masters as well. For those who are intake from January 2018 onwards, the requirements have changed. These are the requirements. So you have to pay attention. You have to get 2 journal publications, ISI and Scopus, and then 1 conference for PhD. And for masters, both full-time and part-time, you see the MPhil as well as the PhD by research, MPhil. So these are the requirements generally for the 2 intakes. And then the duration for me, that we say this is the minimum duration I can stay, and then this is the maximum duration I can stay. When I come to UTP, these are the 2 things I pay attention to. For you who is in the intake of before January 2020, you have your full time for PhD, you can graduate with a minimum of 24 months and maximum of 60 months for PhD, and for masters 12 months. All those who are intake from 2020 onwards, now the things have changed. From January 2020, the minimum for UTP graduates is 3 years, okay, and you can take up to 8 years as the case may be. And then you have to understand, okay, so for you to be pronounced a graduate on time awardee, you have to be able to, from your admission date to your RPD, to all your BAPCs, to your RCS, to notice of thesis, to the Senate meeting, you have to do it within 42 months. Okay, so if you go above 42 months, even by 1 day, you will not be given this award according to the Malaysian Research Assessment. Okay, so for masters, you have to do all this within 24 months. Okay, so what is the most important thing that I always tell myself and I always tell my friends to do in order for us to achieve this unique award is to forget about everything and start. Just start. Start before you are ready. Don't wait before you are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, start. You want to submit that paper, you keep thinking that it's not perfect. You can never get it perfect. Start the process and submit. A lot of corrections will come. You want to submit your thesis to a supervisor to have a look, you are still afraid that it's going to give you so much revision. Just submit and continue to edit while he works on it. So ladies and gentlemen, what I mean by start before you are ready is today, go back to your computer and create a file called my thesis and start writing. Dump all the things that you have, all the achievements from the laboratory that you have, all the little results that you have. Just dump them. Later on, you are going to make up the story and it is going to connect all. Start before you are ready is the key. Right, so let's make a bit of a recap just for us to understand what we have achieved today and the little we have done. So in terms of goal setting, you have to understand what goal statement is. What are goals? What goal statements are, and how do they help you in achieving your goals? As SMART goals, how do you set SMART goals and achieve them? And try to make sure that you understand why people don't set goals and go against that. Why goal is faith? Okay, and try to avoid it. Try to be smart. Try to set smart goals and achieve them. And then in terms of management, I want you to always work with a to-do list. Always avoid weapons of mass distraction. Always take breaks. Break them into chunks. Okay? Try as much as you can to find your most productive time, whether it goes against your girlfriend's wish or not. Try to find the most productive time for yourself. Try to set time frame for anything you want to do. Okay, anything. Try to set the time frame. And lastly, try to understand how to prioritize your tasks. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have bad news for you. Time flies. But the good news is you are the pilot. Okay? Time flies. But the good news is you are the pilot. So you have to decide how and when, which angle, which latitude, which longitude you want to take your time. You want to deviate, you go to Ipoh for partying, it's up to you. You want to spend time in the laboratory to achieve your results, it's up to you. You want to go to KL and visit your girlfriend, it's up to you. You want to stay and target and make your goals smarter and achieve the GOT award in UTP and even participate on other activities, you are the pilot. At this point, thank you for listening to me. So if you have any question, you can share with me. I can do my best to answer, please.
Okay, so the first question from Nur Alia Almira. Her question is, how do you manage your time between being a postgrad student, employee, and parents, especially during this pandemic working from home?
Yeah, you see, managing time at this time can be quite critical, and we have to learn on the job. It's unfortunate that our world is changing in this direction, and it's better we learn how to live with it. Actually, how to learn. We have to learn how to work best at this time to at least take into consideration all these happenings. So as a postgraduate student and as a full-time housewife working from home, actually the best is to look into those strategies, especially the first one. Just make sure you itemize all your daily schedules. What do you need to achieve on a daily basis? Write all of them down and try to attack them one after the other, setting priorities as appropriate. So working from home actually can be quite stressful because you don't have any excuse to attend meetings and even to do other computer-related works at home. You don't have excuse. You have to. So it's quite tiring, time demanding, but you have to try to itemize your time and try to find the most productive time. You can just look at the schedules, the assignments given to you by your boss, and try to assign them a level of importance and urgency. If it has to do with the ones that you can do instantly, just book them and do them right now. And then if you can delay for later use, you can delay as well. So the best thing is to revisit these tips that I give to you and try as much as you can to apply it to your daily schedule. Nothing changed. You still work, you still have to 24 hours, you can still do more, but you have to dedicate one or two other things. For example, you have to have maybe an office for yourself at home, where you dedicate a room where you have minimal distractions and stuff like that. So that can actually help achieve more in less time. I hope I have answered your question.
Okay, so from Reham Bushara, she said that really thank you, sir. And then from Farahida Hani Mausur, she said that how did you manage to stay positive to do all these things during your PhD?
Okay, it's very easy actually. Yeah, staying positive, have to do with what you do on a daily basis. You have to try to control your thoughts. Like the other speaker said, there are things you can control. There are things you cannot control. So you have to spend your time with yourself. Try to spend time with yourself and understand what are those things that you can control within you, and what are those things that you cannot control that are outside your power. So neglect them. Okay. So try to put in a lot of things on daily basis so that you can appear positive. I do manage to gain positivity by participating in different kind of events. You know, events to me, they are like a source of motivation. They recharge me. I do events because I need to do something different. I need to move my space away from research. I carry out the event. I just use it as like a relaxation point. So to me, when you see me conducting events, I do them as relaxation points. So when I come back later to face my research, I face it squarely, and you see I will be much more focused to even do much better. And again, I engage in different kind of exercise on daily basis. Like anyone who is close to me can tell you that at 6 o'clock of every day, I do usually go for workouts. And that actually helped me to boost my efficiency and my achievements as well. So you can imbibe that. If you do anything, keep the good, try to keep track of the kind of people you stay around with. If you know your people are not goal oriented, they don't drag you to achieve more, try to move closer to those who can motivate you to achieve better things. So try to know the reason why you are with your friends and all that. So don't keep negative people in your list. Try as much as you can to bring in positive people who can either drag you or they can make you move together to achieve better goals and better results. I think that helps you as well.
Okay, so the next question is from Bavo Cornelius Borcho. He asked that how do you manage your time considering the lab, administrative, and SB bureaucracy in UTP? I think the PGSE one.
Oh, PGSE. Again, I said it. That,
manage the time.
Come again?
It means that how do you manage the time since you are a postgraduate student and then you are also a PGSE student? How do you manage that?
That's why I said before that I do events, I do engagement in UTP just to motivate myself, just to do something different, just to try to give back to the society, to the university, try to be visible, because visibility has a lot of benefits to the students. When you are quite active, there are times when you don't need to even do other things. You will be recognized for them. Okay, so people usually think that when you engage in volunteerism activities like the PGSE and the departmental societies, you organize volunteer events for students, that maybe you are wasting your time. I used to think that as well until I recognized the benefits of all those engagements. Actually, you will have the time, you have the opportunity to sit with management and discuss problems. You have the opportunity to forward your fellow students' problem to the university and they can solve it for you instantly. So it's a two-way thing. You benefit by participating and you benefit by gaining more, because you just do something different and you gain more energy. When you go back to your research, you become much more effective. So engagement with PGSE and other societies is very, very useful and is very, very good. You can try to register and participate. And most importantly, let me even tell you one of the advantages I faced. I usually tell my friends. I attended one of the seminars in UTP, and each and every student was standing up to introduce himself. You need to stand up and introduce yourself, what center you are. When I stood up to introduce myself in that meeting, the director of that meeting, of that center, he told me, you don't need to introduce yourself. I already know you. You do so many activities in UTP. So sit down. We already know you. And I'm sure some people here also know you. So no need, just sit down. So these are some of the benefits that keep you, going. That yes, not in this. It's not really free. There are lots of benefits attached to it. So you're not really wasting your time. In fact, you are gaining more time.
From Nurul Nisa binti Idris, she asked that do you have any tips for preparing the RPD report?
Actually, the best tip to get for preparing for RPD, RPD is the basics. If you get it right from that point, it will be very easy for you to conduct your research smoothly because you already have a defined direction. So I advise students to take their time to get it right at RPT level, make sure you define your objectives correctly. I know a lot of things will change along the way, but you know that you have to minimize the changes. A lot of things will change, probably even the title. That's why sometimes we call it working title. It is at the end of the day when you do your viva, you will finish up everything, then they will sit down and work out what the title of this thesis should look like based on the problems you have solved, based on the objectives you have achieved, and then they will bring in a final title for you. So things like I must get the right title should not be a problem. Okay, I must get the right objective should rather be more intensified. So you have to put in more effort to get the objectives clearly defined, and always try as much as you can to respect your supervisor, to work with him collaboratively, to always address what he wants. You see, when I came to this university in 2017, I came with my own idea because I already started doing PhD at home. So when I came, I have my proposal with me. When I start with my boss, I told him I have my own proposal. He said, it's okay, you can do what you want, but this is what I want you to do. It's an ongoing project. You can participate and define your scope. We just define your own scope right now, and then you can achieve within the shortest period of time, because it's an ongoing project already. So you have just your task is defined, and we have a lot of support. You know, we are doing the project in collaboration with other universities and the Department of Irrigation and Drainage and the likes, you know. So you already have a defined focus. But if you want to go with your own, it's up to you. But you have to know that we don't have funding for this your work. So at 1 or 2 points, you may get stuck because of funding. So all these things are things you should get right from the onset. What are the things I need to do? Do they require funding or not? Do they require anything that has to do with money or not? Do my boss has grant or not? Even if he has grant, is it in the same topic that I want to do or not? So try to get the facts clearly. Try to define your objectives very clearly so that you can start and end without much changes. You have to change, but you have to minimize the changes if you abide by these little tips. Nisa, I hope you got this. And I'm sure your boss, she is always focused and determined. You don't have to worry yourself. She already knows what you want to achieve, and she will make sure she guides you to achieve that.
Okay, so I think I'll move on to the last question. How do you limit distractions, manage deadlines, and still participate in other extracurricular activities?
You actually have to be specific with the deadlines. You have to set time frame, like I said, to events, to tasks, according to the weight of that task. You can't just take a task that you can do it in 30 minutes and say you will do it in 2 days. Okay, you have to set the time frame right. Okay, you have to try to minimize distraction. There are times to do social media. There are times to on your data to receive calls. You know, you have to understand. For example, there are cases when your supervisor will like to contact you at any time of the day. You don't have control over that. Even while you are sleeping, he has the power to wake you up and give you a task. So if you understand that your supervisor is the type that uses the WhatsApp media often, then you have to keep it open so that he will not tag you as an unserious student. Once he try to get to you and you don't respond in 1, 2, 5, 20 minutes, someone will tag you as unserious. So you have to be really ready with what media or what notification to keep open.
If there is no further question, I would like to extend my thank you on behalf of the PGSC and also the students. I thank you so much to Dr. Abdul Rashid for the sharing. So I hope that all the sharing and tips that we get today, it can be used for our further challenge in our research activities. So thank you so much for attending this talk and event. So I think that's it.